This is the third in a series of 4 posts on ancient ways Christians have sought God. The path described in this post turns the focus to our lives. Of course, we need to read the scriptures to see how God works, but we also need to read our lives as well to see how He is working there. This path invites us to read our lives. We often think of God's work as dramatic and miraculous, and of course it is. His quick work here is hard to miss, but His slow work, well, we can miss that. The subtle whispers, the quiet providences, the shifting desires, we could just blow right through these and miss them. This path asks us to stop and notice by examining them. Aptly enough, it's called the Examen. The Examen dates from the 1500s and was originated by Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits. Of all the spiritual exercises he created, he considered this one the most important. The idea of it is really quite simple. It's praying backwards through your last 24 hours, noticing what happened, what you felt, and bringing all of that to God, both the good and the bad. Over time, you develop an internal navigational system, helping you participate better in what God is doing in your life. Your self-awareness increases God awareness. The currents of desire, of course, ebb and flow in your life, but now you can see those currents better and choose the enduring and the wholesome ones. Ignatius categorized 2 basic motions of the heart, consolation and desolation. Consolation deals with the movements we make toward God. These always entail an increase in faith, hope, and love. As such, they yield a growing sense of God's presence and peace, along with an expanding of noble desires and humble transparency. Desolation, of course, is the opposite, movements away from God. Here, faith, hope, and love are replaced by unbelief, shame, and anxiety. The disconnection from God engenders apathy or restlessness, and all of this combines to make us secretive and afraid. The difference between the two may seem obvious, but it's easy to confuse them. Consolation is not just feeling good and desolation feeling bad. Sometimes grief or anger can actually be moving us closer toward God, while excitement or comfort, well, they can be moving us away from God. Discerning the two is all part of the adventure of the Examen. Your own life becomes a never-ending source of wonder as you peer into it and find God ever at work. As to practicalities, many like to do the Examen in the morning, thinking about the previous day. Some, however, like to do it at the end of the day. As you reflect on the day's events and your responses, you notice both the consolations and the desolations. These can then lead you to thanks, praise, or confession. You are, in a sense, praying your day back to God. Some also find it helpful to journal about the Examen, and of course, I find that very helpful myself. As far as length, it's always best to start small, say 5 minutes, and increase as you desire. God is always at work in our lives. The Examen helps us see to that better and respond to that more faithfully. The best way to see it for yourself is to try it.